Hello everybody and a happy new year. My name is Max191 for those of you which don't have any kind of clue who am I. This is World of Tanks Blitz as usual, and in front of us we have the AC1 Sentinel, which I got through Blitz Fair chests or crates or whatever you want to call them. To be honest, prior of this review I do not have any kind of experience with this vehicle, so you all will have the same experience as me in the games which I'm going to play after the review. I can tell you at least this: from what I can see, this vehicle looks very menacing and very well armored. And to be honest, it is. Yes, it has some ridiculous components in its chassis, but I think they had some kind of idea here and no kind of clue how this thing will look in real life. But yes, we have a tank with a penis in front. Overhaul. Frontal armor of this thing is 65 millimeters, which is pretty nice because first the lower part of the armor is sloped and rounded, the upper part is sloped, very well sloped, or if you want the middle part here is very well sloped, and the upper part is sloped on let's say it's like that, two parts. The central piece of World War II engineering, I hope at least has also 65 millimeters of armor. Because it's so much sloped and so much rounded, yes, I get the idea, the shells will bounce. But overall, it looks very interesting and also intimidating. Now, for the side of the hull, 50 millimeters of armor. Now, yeah, the hull is pretty much very unsloped from the mud guards downwards. On the mud guards and upwards you have some kind of additional armor or housing, or it's armor, it isn't a housing, which maybe will be pretty difficult to be penetrated. I don't have any kind of clue, even I don't have any kind of clue if this thing here is 50 millimeters. So if you want to penetrate this vehicle from the side on the hull, fire here or between the support wheels, which are on some kind of train track design with if I remember correctly, the terminal was a bogie, but I may not be correct. Also an escape hatch, so yeah, another escape hatch. Yeah, if the track falls between those two bogies, I don't see how the heck you will escape from this escape hatch, and yeah, the chance this thing to happen on both sides is pretty slim, but yeah. For the rear, again 65 millimeters. I think this stands for only this piece here, not for the upper part, but if stands for the whole back of the vehicle, I will try to fire in the back between the wheels and between the spare trackling and the wheels, to be honest. I have encountered this tank at least one or twice, and mostly I had gone through the back and I had fired through this part here, the back armor. Now for the turret, frontally the turret has 50 millimeters of armor, just for a sec. Yep, very interesting. But because of the slow amount of sloping, yeah, it's round, but there is a slow amount, not slow, small amount of sloping. Overhaul again, if my gun cannot penetrate at least 90 millimeters of armor, I would not try to fire through the frontal turret of this, the frontal part of the turret of this thing. I will not definitely try to fire through the gun mantlet, because this thing maybe it's also 20 millimeters, and if this thing is 20 millimeters and the back plate here is also 50, you must penetrate at least 60 millimeters, and this thing is sloped, so you may need to penetrate more than 120 millimeters, and not gun in tier 5 can do that successfully for 100 shots, every single shot. So yeah. Now the only thing which I'm seeing as a weak spot, if you can hit it, and if Wargaming had given it a weak spot, hitbox, I'm sorry, is this part over here of the commander's hatch. Very big commander's hatch for this turret. Oh, this is the crew hatch also for the turret. Okay. This part over here, but I'm not sure if you can penetrate. From the side, 35 millimeters. The side of the turret is pretty well sloped, but I would shoot, I'm sorry, in the lower part of the turret, because, well, this is some kind of shell trap from what I can see, and most likely if the shell bounces, it will bounce downwards, and if this thing it isn't at least 50 millimeters thick, which I doubt it, your shell will penetrate without any kind of problem in the vehicle. This is the only thing which I see for the side, which may be a weak, semi-weak spot. Now for the back of the turret, 65 millimeters. Yeah, the back of the turret is pretty much flat on 90 degrees. Yeah, you will need to over penetrate this box here, because this is some kind of storage. But I'm sure that this is some kind of sheet metal box, which will not have any kind of significant thickness for the shell which is incoming. So fire through the box into the turret. This is my advice. Now for this side of the turret though, you can fire in to the commander's hatch. It's pretty easy target, pretty big target, and also it isn't very well sloped here, so the chance for your shell to penetrate is bigger. The vehicle, it isn't very heavy, to be honest. 26.68 tons. It is a medium tank, for sure, but I do not think that this vehicle is very maneuverable, and it isn't in reality moving with such high speeds. The engine is pretty powerful, 339.9 brake horsepower, and just for a sec, 3 Cadillac V8s. Holy crap. You will need an oil tanker also behind you, or oil trailer, for this thing to move reliably for big amount of time. The max speed of this thing forwards is 48 kilometers an hour. Let's say it like that. From my experience with low tier, medium or heavy tanks, I think this is manageable only on a fall slope. Maybe you will have more speed even then, but we shall see now in one of the first games. The traverse speed of the hull and the turret is exactly the same, and I think this is because of the provisions, but I'm not very sure. Now, the traverse speed of the hull is 41.38 degrees per second, which is pretty much slow. But keep in mind, this thing it has a very wide track, wide tracks. Sorry, my English again had gone haywire. And I do not think this thing can turn pretty fast. The turret traverse speed is 41.38 degrees per second. Yes, exactly the same. Now I will remove the provisions because I want to see. Nope, exactly the same thing, which is pretty interesting. The turret is very heavy also for tier 4. It weighs over 4 tons, to be exact 4 tons and 800 kilograms, which is 4,800 kilograms for these people which do not have any kind of clue what is the measurement for ton. 1 ton equals 1,000 kilograms. I had been asked for this. This is the reason why I'm telling you that it has a very high rate of fire, 21.87 shells per minute, which means that the reloading time between each shell is 22.7 seconds. Now the aiming time is 3.7 seconds, which is a bit slow for the time which you have a reload, but also it's not very bad. If the vehicle is near you, let's say less than 20 meters, you will not need to aim as much, and the gun it isn't very big, so the dispersion it isn't a very big problem also. As I told you, for the dispersion is 0.341 for 100 meters at every 100 meters, which it isn't very bad for a tier 4 medium vehicle. Now the view range is 233 meters. I think if you use the improved optics, yes, you will have 256.3 meters. Yes, it increases the view range, but maybe with this thing you will need the camo net. I don't have any kind of clue. Now the improved modules maybe here will be worth it, but I would go for a lower amount of reload here with the gun rammer, then with the defense system. After this, with the coated optics, with the improved optics, I'm sorry, in World of Tanks, these were the coated optics. Now for the enhanced gun lane drive, I'm not very sure. For the supercharge, maybe I will use the supercharge. After this, the enhanced armor and the engine accelerator. After that, in the third column for power, utility and specialization, I would use rifled gun, enhanced tracks, because I anticipate that many of the other players would try to track me, and after this go behind me and shoot with the lower caliber guns and high-end consumables. Just for a sec, boys and girls. So, again, my honest opinion here will be presented to you all after the 3 games which I'm going to play with this team. As you see, I don't have any battles in this thing. Just for a sec, where is the Sentinel? Where is the... am I blind or what? What the? Yeah, I don't have even one battle here, and this is why maybe this thing cannot be shown, which is very interesting. So yeah, after the 3 battles I will tell you all my personal opinion. This is my honest review here. I don't have even played one single game with this thing. I got it on the 31st of December 2017, yes, the past year, before 2 days, not so long. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play 3 games with it. I'm going to mute the mic, put on the music so you can enjoy at least the games, and after this I'm going to tell you all my honest opinion for this vehicle from my first experience with that vehicle. To be honest, in most cases, even in real life, I'm seeing something, and my first visual impressions, well, with the human beings is a bit different, but we must chat, and after this I will have my first impression. But with a vehicle, car, train, airplane, and so on and so on, my first impression usually is the right one. And my first impression for this is my honest opinion from the first impression. Not very fast, not very slow vehicle, which is very well armored. It has a nice gun, the 2-pounder gun for tier 4. It isn't very bad gun. Because of these rows here of springs, because I think these are the springs here, which will prevent the gun from smacking down the turret. From these 3 rows here, I think this is a very fast firing gun. So I think also that here most likely the commander and the gunner are very close together, and over here we have 2 reloaders, or at least the commander is also a gunner, and they are here 2 reloaders, and one of them is also a radio operator because of the antenna here, but the radio may be mounted here. I don't have any kind of clue. To be honest, I never had seen a Sentinel in real life. I plan this year to go in Britain to visit the Bovington Tank Museum, or the Tank Museum, because there I can see a Sentinel and some other British vehicles which are very interesting for me. Very interesting as the Comet, as the Churchill. I do not remember if there is a Black Prince. If there is a Black Prince, I would see it. And the Conqueror, it's very interesting vehicle for me particularly. But yeah, I also plan to make some charity live streams. But first I must receive some answers to my questions, and I asked for help from some big YouTubers because, well, I'm a very small channel and this will be pretty hard. And in the past year here in my country there were very big amount of floods, and to be honest, my government, I'm sorry for the additional sound, it's not very capable of dealing with these things, and I'm going to try to help at least. But first I will ask some people for help, some big YouTube channels and YouTubers for help, because this is the only way I could help these people with something which, yes, every single is the Bulgarian BGN is equals to around 70 cents in dollars, I think, and around 50 euro cents, and around 46 British pounds. So every cent counts, but when there are people which had lived in their destroyed homes for over 50 years, they had worked building vehicles like the T-44, or rebuilding them and remodernizing them in T-54s, T-55s and so on, and they have around, let's say, between 170 and 200 euros to live per month, and this is devastating. I know my government is trying, but they cannot manage, and they're keeping this here in the country. They're not allowing anybody to tell anything about that, and I think this is the worst thing about that. But now for the review, I will end the review here. I will mute the mic, play the games, and I will tell you my honest opinion and my honest experience with this thing for the first 3 games. So yeah. Okay, to be honest, I'm not disappointed of the vehicle still. Because with this kind of team, Well, this is more like it. Now with the previous team, they had gone completely haywire. With this team, at least, yes, one of the teammates told us, I'm going right, but he gone left, and so on and so on. I tried to tell him he's at the left, not at the right, but I was stuck on Kirix because reasons, and so on and so on. Let's continue to the next match. For the moment, I'm not disappointed from this vehicle. And this is even better. Um, what can I say? 3 vehicles destroyed, very nice team. The Valentine was very supportive, no matter of this steel kill. Okay, I don't have any kind of problem with that. Because overall, I had the most amount of damage in the freaking game. I have even more damage from most of the enemy, from all of the enemies. I have more damage than most of my teammates, and I'm a-okay with that. So I'm going to put to these all players effective player. And now the conclusion. What is my personal opinion? My personal opinion is the same as my first look opinion. Not very fast vehicle, at least faster than what I anticipated. Not very bad vehicle. Well, holy crap, my English is going haywire today. Well armored. It has a nice firing, very fast firing gun. The aiming time is a bit sluggish, but as I told you, if uh, the vehicle which you are trying to hit is in a very small amount of space between you and the firing arc of the gun, there is no matter. As you saw, I fired directly. I didn't even aim. I just auto-aimed the cannon. I'm sorry, the turret. The cannon was looking in that direction. I directly fired, and no problem because we're between us. The distance is only 50 meters, and they were not even as much as between me and the M3 Lee, between me and even the T-46. In some moments, yes, I missed, and this was a bit disappointing because most of the British guns are very accurate, but yeah, I have experience with Russian guns, so yeah. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If this is the case, I will use one of the comments in which the end was fuck off Mac. I'm not Mac, I'm Maxwell. If you want to turn to me personally, Mikhail. Please rate, comment or subscribe. This will help me very much. Maxwell91, have a nice day and Happy New Year!